Action continues here at the 2021 Rogue Invitational from Dell Diamond Stadium in Round Rock, Texas. I'm Sean Woodland with Chase Ingram. Overall standings as the men are set to take the field. It's Justin Medeiros who has the overall lead, is able to build on that from the prior event. Jason Hopper has moved into second place. He is 25 points back of Medeiros. Pat Vellner is in third, followed by Guy Majeros and Jeff Adler. All five of those men, the only men above the 200-point mark. Event number 4 is Concept2. We're gonna do some work on the SkiErg, some Med Ball GHDs, and then the sprint up and down Mater Hill.
4 rounds for time, 21 and 21 between the SkiErg and the Med Ball GHD Sit-Up, but just 14 pounds for the men. And as we saw the same for the women, that hill run is going to take its toll if you don't respect it coming out of the gates. And the big thing we saw, especially on the women's side, is you got to approach this event the right way. This is a very monostructural-like movement event. The SkiErg, the GHD, even that long cycle rate, it does fit the scheme there. And then that run is increasing your intensity from round to round. We saw that's what Tia did. Now, to win it, you might need to do what Haley did, which is start fast and stay fast. But that's easier said than done.
9 men will be in this opening heat. Andre Uday was supposed to be in this heat, but he has withdrawn from competition. We have no explanation as to why, but lane 5 will be unoccupied. That is where he was supposed to be competing. But this is an event that might line up well for a guy like Lazar Jukic in lane 4.
If you think about an event that had running at a long distance and some core movements in the middle of it, is that event we saw in Madison early in August. And Lazar Jukic absolutely destroyed that event where it had 3 miles of total running, 90 toes to bar intermittent through that as he works his way through it. I like this event and how it stacks up for Lazar's skill sets.
Jukic coming in 12th place overall, 145 points. His best finish was in the opening event when he took 8th place. We are underway, first of 2 heats. 180 total repetitions at the 21 mark is when they will move on to their first set of GHDs. But work to be done here on the SkiErg first.
21 cals, the men will probably be moving a little bit faster than we saw the women do. Something around about 60 seconds or less for 21 cals, especially with the caliber of athletes that we have in the field here at the Rogue Invitational. And what you're looking for this first round is really to settle into a nice rhythm and pace that you're comfortable going at about 80% intensity in the first round, and crescendo that as you go from round to round for the 4 total. And as we said, it's going to take right less than a minute. Looks like Ben Smith is in the lead a little bit, but all these athletes are going to come off in the first 5 seconds together.
Ben Smith is off first. He will move on to the 21 Med Ball GHDs. Ben Smith in lane number 3. There with the hat on backwards and the black top.
Now the GHD with the Med Ball is such a similar movement pattern that we have on the SkiErg, and that's something we call just a bit of redundancy. Same movement pattern back to back. Now in the SkiErg, we're in a standing position pulling down. On the GHD, we're inverted, leaning back and coming up. So though the movement pattern is the same, the way they get there is different, but the stimulus on the body is very similar. So you got to look at the first 2 movements in this as something that's nearly the same exact thing. Find a rhythm, find where that ball's going to tap below your head, how you're going to hold on to it. You can see Ben Smith rolling it down his legs. That's actually a very savvy move. That's going to save his grip for the SkiErg later.
Alex Vigneault and Jason Smith, the first 2 men off of those GHDs. Alex Vigneault making his first career appearance here at the Rogue Invitational, as is Jason Smith. Heiner Kapalainen and Alexander Carone towards the front as well. And Vigneault, the first man to make his first trip down the hill, followed by Jason Smith in those black shorts. And Sam Quant is in the back there. He's next to Heiner Kapalainen. Kapalainen in the tank top black shorts. And Alexander Carone in the blue shirt.
This event overall really plays to the strength of those work capacity cardio athletes. You know, cardio in the element of monostructure, which is the ski, the run, long bikes of a longer distance variety. Not so much as we saw on the Echo Bike earlier in event number 3. And what you'll see is a lot of things shift, but I think really between two different athletes. Those that are strong early, which you see a lot of the bigger athletes, more powerful on the skier, will get out ahead like Vigneault and Jason Smith. And don't be surprised to say Jukic over in lane number 4 is to start making a move right around that 3-round mark. The same thing we saw Tia Toomey do earlier.
Alexander Carone is now your leader. 66 reps is what he's got to hit before he moves on to the GHDs for his second set. 180 total scored repetitions. This is the first of 2 heats for the men. Vigneault and Smith off at the same time. Carone gets to work on his GHDs first, though, here in round number 2. Heinrich Happellein and then Sam Quant making their way back. And here comes Lazar Jukic in the red shirt.
Jukic's about 7 or 8 reps behind. It's about 10 to 15 seconds, depending on your pace on the GHD. It's about 1.5 to 2 seconds per rep. Carone on the right, and a lot of athletes are doing this. Watch the athletes will pick the ball up and roll it down the leg, and what that does is it gives your arms a break. If you were to hold on to that med ball the whole time, it's really going to take away from your ability to pull harder on the skier. So they'll pull it to their waist as fast as they can. Lead with the ball first. Let that pull you up from the ground, and then just roll it to the feet and back and save your arms.
Alexander Carone is now your new leader here in round 2. Alex Vigneault is in second, and Jason Smith sits in third. Carone making his second trip up the hill. Sits in ninth after 3 events.
It's about halfway up the hill where you decide if you'd like to keep that pace or not.
Carone on his way down, and he looks to be the leader going into round 3 of 4. Alex Vigneault in the army green top is in second. It's Jason Smith, 37-year-old out of Johannesburg, South Africa, who sits in third. Carone back to the SkiErg for the 3rd time.
Carone's an athlete that can just rip on these cords for the SkiErg. Make up a lot of time on this. And we said earlier is that the SkiErg is really where you can separate yourself outside of your pace or your speed on the run. You're not going to lose too much or gain too much on the GHD. You can gain a little bit if you can keep the pace, but the real big time separator is the ski and the run. That's where you can make your moves if you want to get ahead of people.
Alexander Carone continuing to lead, looks to hit the 111 rep mark to close out round 3 of the SkiErg.
See what Jason's doing on the right side is really doing heavy upper body pull, and there's nothing wrong with that because that is going to save your core for the GHDs.
Carone is done. He will be back to the GHDs for the 3rd time. 14-pound med ball that he's using.
Again,
Jason Smith has moved ahead of Alex Vigneault.
But we said earlier, with that lighter ball, it just allows them to really move a lot faster. I think if it was a heavier ball, that would probably disrupt your bigger athletes, but with the lighter one, it doesn't. And that's not necessarily saying that's a bad thing because, again, it's keeping the intensity elevated the entire time. This is an event only in that 9 to 11 minute time frame. You might see it a little bit faster for the men closer to that 9-minute mark, but that's a lot of intensity for a high volume event such as this. Different than what we saw in event 3 where all those top times were sub 3, but as we said before, 3 to 4 times the amount of time under tension in this event with the volume is that this is one of those that you're operating at a higher intensity the entire time, which that's really the tricky part of this event.
Alexander Carone continues to lead. Alex Vigneault in second, and it's Jason Smith in third. This has been the order pretty much after round 1. Alexander Carone looking to hang on to his lead heading into the 4th and final round, making his way up Motter Hill for the 3rd time.
Let's just start lurking over the GHDs and wondering if Jukic is going to try to make a move, but if you need to make it now, you're going to run out of time to do so because Carone is looking very, very good here on the third round. Usually you see athletes that they're losing interest after the third run, but Caron seems very motivated.
Alexander Caron heads back to the SkiErg for the fourth and final time. It's about a 7-second lead right now on Alexander Vigneault, who's just getting to work on his fourth and final 21 calories on the SkiErg. Jason Smith staying in third place. Heinrich Happelainen is in fourth, and Lazar Jukic is now in fifth. So Jukic making up some ground there at the end of that last round.
Now he's not out of it yet. He's only about 10 cals back, but Jukic, if you look on the right side, he's in the red, is that he is not using his body or legs at all on the SkiErg. And this is exactly what the problem is with Jukic. It's not, I was wondering what it was, and now seeing it is that he is really not using anything that you would want to on the SkiErg. That is just an upper body pull. What you need to do is you need to bend the legs, drop the legs. What we saw from Caron, we saw from Jason Smith, we saw from Tia Tooney earlier, is that dropping your whole body. And I think what the problem was is someone probably told him is that you really need to not use your core and your body too much to save yourself on the GHDs. And if that was the advice, that was horrible advice. You were losing so much time on the SkiErg because you are not putting your whole body into it.
Alexander Caron continues to lead. He is working on his fourth and final set of Med Ball GHDs. He's got to get to the 177 rep mark. Alex Vigneault and Jason Smith are in second and third. And Jukic has now moved into fourth, just about a second ahead of Heinrich Happelainen getting to the GHD. Now Sam Quant in those black and red shorts is there as well. 2 reps remain for Caron, and he will take off for the final time towards Mater Hill.
Lengthen up your stroke. Try to settle your breathing. I'm not going to say catch your breath because that's impossible at this point, but get ready for the hill. You got to hit the hill with as much of intensity and whatever you have left here at the end. He's leaning forward. He's trying to stay on the balls of his seat the best he can, but ride this wave, ride this down to get a nice long open stride as you get to the bottom. Use your arms, make sure they're driving back and forth, not side to side.
Alex Vigneault has put some distance between himself and Jason Smith for that battle for second, but there is nobody near Alexander Caron as he is going to take the win in heat number 1. 10:13.87 seconds. Here comes Alex Vigneault. Vigneault will take second. Jason Smith is going to finish third in the heat. Lazar Jukic is trying to hold off Will Morad, the two of them sprinting down the field. I think Morad isn't going to have enough time to catch Jukic, so Jukic will take fourth. Morad comes in fifth. Heinrich Happelainen will be next to cross, followed by Uldis Upniks and then Sam Quant. Ben Smith is the only man left. Remember, Andre Uday has withdrawn from the competition. Here comes Ben Smith. Making his third career appearance here at the Rogue Invitational. His best finish was 10th last year in the event that was held virtually.
Quality dad hat. When your hat's got a buckle on it, you know, quality dad.
Good job, brother. Oh,
now between Caron, Vigneault, and Jason Smith, they never really separated from each other too much after the second round. That's when Caron really made his move. And Jukic ended up in fourth overall, and you look at the time difference, it's 32 seconds between Caron and Jukic between first and fourth, and that's just a matter of 7 to 8 seconds only per round, and that all came from the SkiErg.
Will Morad putting on a good push late as he wound up finishing fifth. His score is not up there on the board. Lazar Jukic will take 4. Jukic coming in 12th place overall, 145 points. I mentioned Will Morad, he was in 18th place overall coming in. He's trying to lock up his first top 10 finish of this competition, but Alexander Caron basically wire to wire here.
Hey, here's one for the big boys. Alexander Caron, not just a one-trick pony with a barbell. This guy put it down here in event number 4, and it had 2 different monostructural movements in it with the hill run and the SkiErg. What he did is he used his size and strength to his advantage on the SkiErg and just relied on his fitness for the GHDs in the run.
10:13.87 seconds, the time put up by Alexander Caron with 1 heat remaining. And we'll see if that is able to stand, but the men who are towards the top of the leaderboard will be out next here for Concept 2, the 4th of 7 events that these athletes will face here at the 2021 Rogue Invitational. We'll step aside for a couple of minutes. We will be back with the second and final heat here of Event 4, Concept 2. Stick around, everybody. The 2021 Rogue Invitational continues. Day number 2 continues here, the 2021 Rogue Invitational, with Event 4 for the individuals, the final heat for the men. They are set to take the field here at Dell Diamond in Round Rock, Texas. Thank you so much for staying with us today, everybody. I'm Sean Woodland with Chase Ingram. Your overall standings for the men after 3 events. It's Justin Medeiros who has the overall lead at 280 points. Jason Hopper, courtesy of his performance in the last event, has vaulted into second. He is 25 points back of Hopper. Pat Vellner sits in third. Guy Mahero is 10 points back of a spot inside the top 3. And it's Jeffrey Adler, the only other athlete above 200 points. Event number 4 is Concept 2. 4 rounds of a SkiErg, some GHDs, and a run up and down Motter Hill in center field here at Dell Diamond.
That's a tasty Metcon burger. I tell you what, 21 cals on the ski, 21 Med Ball GHD Sit-ups with a 14-pound ball for the men, and then the hill run. It's right about 200 meters with that steep grade in the background on the competition field. And as these athletes get set, 10 men, your top 10 after the first 3 events, I'm very curious to see how some of these athletes handle the pressure, keep their momentum, and, you know, break some habits from the games.
And there is a look at Motter Hill that Rogue has constructed in center field here. The top 10 men in the overall standings are on the field. Guy Mahero right now sits in 4th place. This is not necessarily an event that you would think would play well for him, because not a barbell in sight, Chase.
not a barbell in sight, but we have the SkiErg, and we have that nice big hill in the back and a GHD sit-up. And this is an event that Guy struggled with in Madison that we saw earlier this year. The man excels in something short, something heavy, and knowing this was a weakness of his at the games, I'm curious to see how he started to work on that moving forward into this offseason.
Lane 7, Jason Hopper has a bit of momentum right now, sitting in 2nd place.
Jason Hopper, the juggernaut. If he starts getting some momentum, who knows who can stop him? And he had a pretty darn good finish in event number 3 with a 1st place finish. I want to see how he carries that into event number 4.
Second and final heat is underway. The time to beat, 10:13.87 seconds, belongs to Alexander Caron. 21 calories to open up here on the SkiErg.
Pretty brisk pace for BKG. Cole Sager's in the front part of your screen. Jorgen Carl Gudmundsson above him in the black tank top and dark shorts. Much faster cycle rate than I really see any other athlete doing so far. And we saw 2 different styles. You can either start as a little slow and crescendo your intensity, or you can stay consistent. Caron, who has the time of the beat, was about as consistent as you could possibly get. He was right around 230 to 235 every round.
Pat Vellner first out the GHD. Hopper and Medeiros right behind him, as is Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson. And now all the athletes are done with those 21 calories on the SkiErg. Cole Sager in the far end of the field in the gray top was the last man to get to the GHDs. Now 21 reps here.
Now with this Med Ball GHD sit-up, you want to let the Med Ball work for you, not against you. And what you can do here is that when you bring the ball behind your head, throw it first. Don't sit up first and then pull the med ball with you. Actually tap the ground, reach that over. Oh, Travis Mayer is using the old Tommy Hackenbrook GHD hack from 2015. Interesting. I'm curious how they're letting him do that. We'll touch on why he's doing that maybe on the next round. But what you want to do is keep the med ball close so it doesn't work against you.
Justin Medeiros off first, followed closely by Chandler Smith, Pat Vellner, Jorgen Carl Gudmundsson, and Jeffrey Adler.
Medeiros attack the hill on the first run, leaning into it. Vellner as well. Vellner a little more of a side-to-side run. And this is the race we had talked about coming in this weekend for the Rogue Invitational between Vellner and Medeiros, and we're getting it here in all of its glory in event number 4.
Pat Vellner was able to catch up with Medeiros as the two of them neck and neck here after round number 1. Second set of 21 calories here. They have to get to the 66 rep mark.
It's right about the same time Carone had after the first round. Carone was about 230 on the first round, but his second round is 231, so he didn't fall off the pace at all. In fact, I would say he was actually faster because of the run-up that he didn't have to start things off. So Carone was super consistent in Heat 1.
We'll look at Chandler Smith, who is pushing the lead pace here, but it's Pat Vellner who has the lead, but not by much.
Chandler Smith had a unique style there.
Vellner, your defending Rogue Invitational champion, making his 3rd appearance here at this competition, and Justin Medeiros staying close to Vellner. He's in second. Chandler Smith and Jeffrey Adler now to the GHDs. Jorgen Carl Gudmundsson, Jason Hopper, and Travis Mayer now there as well. And Guy Majieros has fallen towards the back of this heat along with Cole Sager. In fact, Guy is now in 10th.
Look at the pace by Justin Medeiros to the left of Pat Vellner. Just blasting through these GHD sit-ups. Vellner is a bit faster than him on the ski, but Medeiros definitely cycles more on the GHD, and Medeiros actually, he's pretty high on the GHD where his hips are set. You see Vellner on the right, his hips are way on the back side of the pad, where Medeiros is right underneath his hips.
Same scenario as round 1. Medeiros off first on the GHDs, followed closely by Vellner, but remember, Vellner was able to catch him on this run. Adler and Chandler Smith. Adler in the blue shorts, Chandler Smith next to him in the black shorts. The two of them are fighting for 3rd place.
And Vellner did catch him. It's almost identical from round 1 to round 2, but you know, where's the cost benefit of where you put your intensity? Should you put it on the ski? Should you put it on the GHD? Should you put it on the run? And honestly, I think you should put it a little bit more on the GHD if you can cycle it, because it's not going to be as taxing as, say, putting it in on the hill run.
And Justin Medeiros, first man back as we are at the halfway point of this event. Through 2 rounds, 2 to go. 21 more calories on the SkiErg here. 111 is the number they need to hit.
Both athletes ahead of Carone's pace. They're both under 5 minutes at the halfway point. Vellner is still 2 rounds in a row has been able to get off the SkiErg faster than Medeiros.
And Vellner's starting to creep up on Medeiros, and now even with him. Medeiros maybe about a half a calorie ahead of him at this point. 111 reps, remember, is what they need to hit. The judge's hand in the air before, for Vellner, pardon me, for Medeiros, in the air ahead of the judge for Pat Vellner. And Medeiros is going to be off first for the first time in this event, but Pat Vellner's right behind him.
And Vellner really lost, he caught up time, but now he's behind. So he lost his advantage as far as speed on the SkiErg.
Adler and Chandler Smith continue to battle for 3rd. Good news for them because Chandler Smith in 11th place overall. He's tied with Cole Sager with 150 points. Sager's towards the back of this heat. Jeff Adler right now is in 5th place, and he's trying to catch Guy Medeiros, who is also towards the back. Adler at 225 points coming in. He's on the right of your screen. Guy Medeiros at 235. 10 points is just a difference of 2 spots here in the results.
Now, traditionally, this wasn't an event that was ever good for Adler, because Adler was traditionally the barbell guy, kind of like Guy is now.
Medeiros off ahead of Pat Vellner, and he is building on his lead here. Vellner is on the run, and Jeff Adler is about even with Pat Vellner. Chandler Smith now back in 4th. Justin Medeiros has yet to win an event here. 2 seconds and a third at the Rogue Invitational. He has the lead at 280 points. Here comes Pat Vellner. He's 35 points up on Jason Hopper, who right now is in 7th place in this heat. Here comes Jeffrey Adler, so Pat Vellner able to put some distance between himself and Adler for 2nd place. Medeiros back to the SkiErg for the final time, and now here comes Pat Vellner.
Now, if Vellner wants to stay with Medeiros, he's going to have to do something very risky on the SkiErg here, because he's going to have to get ahead of him, because he doesn't have the cycle rate on the GHD like Medeiros does. So if Vellner wants to try to get up ahead of him, he's going to have to ski at a pace that maybe the wheels will come off on the GHD, maybe not. Who knows what happens on the run, but he may just be able to try to fight off Adler and Smith instead.
156 reps is the mark they got to hit.
Now Chandler Smith on the left, watch it. He does 2 quick pulls and then 1 slow reach up. Pull, pull, little break.
Medeiros is done. Final time to the GHDs. Vellner about ready to finish up. He's got 2 calories to go. He's trying to hold off a challenge from the man in the blue shorts, Jeffrey Adler. Vellner now hustling to the GHDs.
And now Vellner went from trying to chase down Justin Medeiros to trying to hold off Adler and Smith. And the question is, how is Medeiros cycling faster than Pat Vellner? Watch Medeiros. He keeps his arms bent. That ball never moves. He goes over in a full sit-up and reaches towards the end. But watch Vellner. He rolls out, rolls back. And that's just the half a second you need to lose about 10 seconds per round. And that's all it takes in an event like this. When your fitness level is about evenly matched, it's the little things like that that make the difference in 4-round events.
Medeiros is ready to close out his final set of GHDs and take off on his last run up and down Motter Hill. Time to beat 10:13.87 seconds. Medeiros has definitely got a shot at that. Here comes Pat Vellner in 2nd. Chandler Smith is now in 3rd. So Smith is pulled ahead of Jeffrey Adler. And Chandler Smith trying to track down Pat Vellner. Medeiros makes the turn, and he's on his way back.
Vellner still not giving in.
But Vellner trying to hustle his way down the hill, and he's going to empty the tank as he tries to catch up with Justin Medeiros. Medeiros, though, looks like he's clear, and Justin Medeiros is going to pick up his first event win here at the Rogue Invitational. Chandler Smith put on a late kick, but not able to beat Pat Vellner. Vellner's going to take 2nd in the heat, 2nd in the event. Here comes Jeffrey Adler. Now, the good news for Pat Vellner, even though he's not catching up to Justin Medeiros, he is going to catch up to Jason Hopper. Vellner only trailed Hopper by 10 points for 2nd place, and Jason Hopper is just now making his way towards the finish line. 2 of the best in the world, if not the best in the world, sharing a seat on the cooler out there and talking about what just happened as Travis Mayer is across, and here comes Cole Sager. And that'll leave Guy Medeiros and Saxon Panchik as the only 2 men left on the field. Saxon is on his way back, and Guy Medeiros, as we thought, struggling with this event, and he's going to take 10th place in this 2nd heat. And here comes Guy.
Guy, when you get to Cookeville, get used to a lot of this. You'll be doing a lot of running in GHD sit-ups in your near future.
And Guy Medeiros is in. 11:29.89 seconds. You see the Brazilian flag in the background as he has amassed quite the following, not only in South America, but also around the world. Chandler Smith and Jeffrey Adler, they were locking a good battle throughout that event. It's Chandler Smith who got the best of that, but it's Justin Medeiros who gets the best of the event. Has yet to finish lower than third in this competition, and he will widen his lead and tighten his grip on the top spot on the overall leaderboard.
And coming into this, Vellner was leading early, but Medeiros always seemed to edge him out on the GHDs. And then after the third round, that's when Vellner lost his lead that he usually got on the SkiErg. And then Medeiros feared nothing about Mater Hill. Got himself his first event win of the weekend. Shades, mullet. All we need is a soundtrack from Rad. We got ourselves a great 80s rock star in Justin Medeiros.
And the Medeiros family very happy with what they are seeing here in Texas. Kiki Dixon is with your event winner and overall leader.
Justin, congratulations on your first event win here at the Rogue Invitational. This had 3 different movements. You had the SkiErg, you had the GHD, and that hill. Which one was pulling the most energy from you?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of them. I mean, you got to push the pace. I mean, going into this workout, we thought it was going to be a heavy on the SkiErg and the run. And after watching the previous heats, it was like, okay, the GHDs are actually a big factor in this workout. So knowing that as a strength of mine, I really needed to push it there and kind of hold my paces everywhere else. And kind of after the first or the second round, I kind of established my place, like compete for first or second. I know if I could hold this pace. And I saw it a little bit in the tank to push hard at the end. So I was really happy with how it went. And feels good to finally get an event win here.
No doubt, sitting on top of the leaderboard, you really bring so much energy and excitement and such a positive attitude. I mean, everything from your hairdo to your glasses. What's the secret to that?
Man, I think it's just having like an awesome support group behind me. I mean, just, you see my family up there after every workout. They're freaking yelling hard and freaking cheering for me. So to have their energy and know that they're gonna support me no matter what I do is just awesome to have. And plus we got all these fans here yelling for us. So it's just easy to come out here and have a good time.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
First event win here at the Rogue Invitational for Justin Medeiros, as he has yet to finish lower than third in 4 events, and he is going to increase his overall lead with just 3 events to go. 1 more event today and then 2 to close things out on Sunday. Four events down for the individuals, and Justin Medeiros is creeping closer to an overall win here at the Rogue Invitational. A lot more to come here from Round Rock, Texas. We'll have the Rogue Iron Game show coming up next. We will crown a strongman champion later, and then 1 final event for the individual men and women. Action continues at the 2021 Rogue Invitational. Don't go away.